hey, what are you doing today, Wednesday, November 19th at 4 p.m. Pacific time? Why am I asking? Oh, because Jeff and I are doing a video hangout. You can come and chat with us, give us your feedback about the show, ask us any questions, and just generally chill. To find out how to join us, head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
Have you seen Interstellar yet?
No, I haven't seen Interstellar yet.
Are you going?
I want to. There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen yet. Yeah, I'm frustratingly behind with movies at all times.
Yeah.
That's just me. This is We Have Concerns. Hello, Jeff Canada.
Hello, Anthony Carboni. Time.
Keeps on slipping away.
It does indeed. This is a really interesting article, and it was sent in to us by one of our listeners. Brandt Hughes sent this to wehaveconcernsshow@gmail.com.
Thank you, concerned citizen.
Yes, indeed. This is really fascinating. So evidently, there is a new, most precise clock.
This is awesome. Wasn't the last most precise clock precise to like microseconds?
Oh, yeah. This one, it's an atomic clock, right? So it measures the oscillation of a certain element. And they say it is...
What do they usually use? What do they use? Barium?
I think this is Celium? Kellium?
Selenium?
No.
Selena Gomez?
It's Selena Gomez. They measure it to her. Let me find it here. It is cesium.
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 Okay, yes.
Yes. I probably should have looked at that beforehand. Cesium. Anyway, it is precise to... my eyes go cross-eyed looking at this many zeros after the decimal point. So I can't even count them because I lose my count because there's so many.
Yeah, it's like 0.000000000000000.
Yeah. I think there's about 10 zeros 1 second in time, right? So the crazy thing about that, and that's impressive. That's an impressive feat of engineering.
Yeah, it totally. These things are always impressive feats of engineering, and then they're always like, well, you get to a certain extent, and it's what are the practical things that we get out of being this on the dot?
Right. Well, the first crazy thing is this clock will stay that accurate for 300 million years.
Psh, just like scientists not to think of the future.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with our great-grandchildren need to know what time it is. You left them hanging.
Yeah,
is what happened.
So that's it said if it had been started 300 million years ago, it would still be accurate, but it can keep perfect time for 5 billion years.
Why didn't they just start it 300 million years ago?
They should have. That's really lack of forethought, I think.
Can't just leave it lying around.
But even crazier than that, this article goes into detail about how, thanks to Einstein's theory of relativity, which people may have seen a little bit about if they saw Interstellar recently, time is different based on how close it is to the gravitational center of an object in the galaxy. Yeah. So there is a minute difference in time the closer to the surface of the Earth you are. So actual satellites that are in space that are used to keep time for various things are already set to compensate for that difference in... Yeah, it's very minute, but
they usually they check in and they ping with each other and they'll ping with a clock back in. Yeah, but they have to be constantly making sure they're in sync, because if they're not, things like your GPS just will stop working.
Right,
because all the satellites will think that you are a tenth of a second off.
Right,
and they'll all be talking to each other and they'll be like, "Well, he's over here. No, he's over here."
And even if it's just a very, very minute amount, which it is, it will compound over time. So that's a bad thing. Well, this clock is so...
These guys.
It's so precise that it can actually detect a difference in time between setting it on the ground or putting it up on your wall.
At this point, that clock is useless.
Right.
Isn't it?
That's the crazy thing about that is that the only thing that measuring time matters for is if there are two people, right? The only reason I care...
things need to be synchronized.
Exactly.
That's it. And if something is keeping different times than the other thing it's supposed to be synchronized because of a change in gravity that is imperceptible,
right,
there's no point in having that clock.
It's a clock that's so precise that it becomes irrelevant. The crazy thing is, too, that in looking up this stuff, I didn't realize that up until pretty recently in our history, each city you would go into kept its own time.
Yeah.
And it was only after the establishment of the railroads that it mattered that one city's time was different from another city's time, because there was somebody trying to make the trains run on time.
Yeah.
And if it was 2 o'clock where you left and 2:03 where you arrive, and you get there 3 minutes off, it messes everybody up. So all of a sudden somebody had to go, guess what? We all need to sync up our timepieces, everybody.
Yeah.
So there became a universal time, which is what led to daylight savings time.
Which is bullshit.
Well, yeah, it is bullshit.
Daylight
actually.
savings time is bullshit. But I love the idea of this. I love the idea of every society has its own, every culture has its own money, has its own language,
Yeah.
and we used to have our own time.
It's
We used
crazy.
to have our own way. Like, there were so many different ways of doing things. And it's crazy to think about how standardized things have become in just like the last 100 to 200 years.
Yeah, it's wild because you think of us as a global society, but it really puts into focus how not very long ago, when you went into a new town or city, you were kind of in an island. You were in a weird island that was self-sustained, and it didn't really matter what time it was the next island over. The next city was in its own universe, quite literally. It was crazy. And now we have the ability to sync all these things up, and we have the ability to create something that's so precise that it can't be synced up because it's all.
So what do we do with it?
What do we do with it? That's a great question.
What does the article say what we do with it?
I think these guys are pretty proud they made it, and they just want to keep it going, but it basically.
I mean, I could see, just like you said, for localized stuff, I could see using this for experiments in a specific lab, for things that need to be done at a very, very small, like, quantum level, right? So you're talking about things that have to happen, reactions that have to happen in millionths of a second.
Right.
And you're trying to keep accurate data. Think about something like the Large Hadron Collider or something like that, where you're talking about particle interactions that happen on such a small scale that billionths of a second matter.
Right.
And you want to keep doing standardized versions of those experiments. That's pretty cool. It's not gonna make a cool watch for me.
Well, I don't think this could be on a watch, but
I want an atomic watch.
this guy is saying,
Don't look at me like I'm an idiot and ignore what I want. How dare you? I'm sitting right here telling you that I want an atomic watch.
you want an atomic watch so you can be wrong based on how far your arm swings from the Earth's core?
Not like that atomic. I want something a little less, because I also don't want to spend a lot.
You want a sensible atomic
I want a
watch?
sensible atomic watch. I want a nice, classy, sensible atomic timepiece.
What element can we get that's, in my price range? It's not, it's not too something
Yeah.
classy, something really classy.
Yeah.
But
Like a bespoke element. I think I have just the thing for you, sir.
Yeah.
This is a radium.
Ooh, a
Yeah.
radium. Oh,
This is a
look at
particular
that.
radium. Don't touch it.
Do
not touch it.
You know what? It kind of itches even from here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is that-
This will kill you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I kind of want to.
These are all going to make you sick. And I don't just mean once we put them in the watch and it's on your wrist.
Uh-huh.
I mean right now. You
Oh.
are getting sick right now.
It's already too late.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's our motto.
Well, at least we
Try
have
our watches.
at least we have
It's
a really,
already too late.
I like this quote from the scientist. He says, "At this level, maintaining absolute time on Earth is in fact turning into a nightmare. He suspects the only way we would be able to keep time in the future is to send these new clocks into space. Far from the Earth's surface, the clocks would be able to stay in sync, and perhaps our unified sense of time could be preserved."
To what end?
So
To what end? Because here's the thing. So it's like this becomes like a sort of craziness.
Right.
This becomes a sort of insanity. This
Well-
isn't accurate enough. Shoot these things into space to the place that's the most devoid of gravity they can be,
Yeah.
so they can all keep standardized time and beam
For
that
whom?
time back. For who?
Right.
For who? For us, we're fine.
Well, that's the craziest thing. The article starts off with the guy who's been working on this. You feel like he's been down this rabbit hole that you and I are just talking about now, and he comes out of it saying his own personal opinion is that time is a human construct.
Of course it is.
He's like, time is a flat circle, motherfucker. I've been.
He's
working-
like cutting little people out of beer cans.
Yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
selling Lincolns.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he has been scarred, but he's like, we made the perfect clock, and it all came crashing down around us, man.
Steve, it's not like you did a great job.
No,
This is a wonderful clock.
I don't know if you said that just now, or if you're going to say that, or if you've already said that. You're sitting like 3 feet away from me, which in spatial temporal relations could be 1,000,000 miles or 2.5 days, or man, I'm freaking out and I can't eat or sleep. I don't know when I am or where I am.
Okay.
I made a good watch though.
It's a great watch,
I know,
man.
it's beautiful.
I mean, you did some great work.
Do you like the little Mickey Mouse hands?
It's really cute.
I know, it's adorable, and I don't know what to do with it because it's ruining everything.
I like that his tail actually is moving so fast I can't see it.
It's adorable.
It's like what is that? A nanosecond hand?
Yeah, I want it to be as precise as possible so that when I watch cartoons, but maybe the cartoons aren't even in our dimension.
I know this is killing you, and I know this has been tearing you apart, but I want you to get it together because I just want to know if you can make one that looks like a little kitty where its eyes go back and forth.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The president's daughter wants one.
Well, I can do that. It's pretty simple, actually, but I should have you know that those eyes may be looking at you or where you're going to be or where you've already been.
Steve, what question are you answering? We've been sitting here for 3 hours.
Oh, my God. It's all true. Oh, my God.
So is that a no on the cat, then? Schrodinger's kitty clock.
Yeah. Schrodinger's kitty clock.
It's cool to do things because we can do them.
I guess.
It's cool to do things because, we will be able to use, those guys will be able to use one of these clocks for some sort of experiment here on Earth. It's crazy to think that we need this kind of accuracy.
Well, it's wild to be able to measure something that we can't even define.
Well, that's what's funny. Like, he's talking about how time is a human construct, and it's really true. Like, we're finding these more and more precise ways to calculate something that we just came up with.
Right.
Like, we just fucking came up with it.
It's really measurable, and yet there's plenty of stuff in the universe that we can define that we can't measure.
So here's the thing. There's been a lot of research into animal perception of time.
Yeah.
And how it changes and how the flow of time is different for flies. The flow of time feels different for cats, for dogs, for birds, like all this stuff. And I think it's so fascinating that we are obsessed with finding this absolute way to measure the human progression of time when it stands to reason that if we were to find any other life form in the universe that we needed to create a standardized time with, they probably don't even see time the same way we do.
Yeah.
They probably don't even feel it the same way we do or look at it the same way we do, which I guess in that case, it becomes more important to standardize it and also becomes more impossible to standardize it.
Yeah.
And so why bother?
Yeah. It's certainly something we experience and kind of break your brain just thinking about the fact that you can measure it to the utmost precision, and yet to what end? Mm. To what end? There's nothing that actually, no benefit we gain from that, right?
Not that I can think of, but I'm not as smart as these guys.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I see this look in your face, like there are 19 Interstellar references that you wanted to make.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the movie, and
Probably
so you can't.
Probably better that I don't. Yeah.
But there's a lot of sci-fi. Like, it's a favorite thing of sci-fi and of all fiction to talk about the human perception of time. And there are a lot of sci-fi stories about people going into space, traveling through space and coming back, and everything's different because time moves differently for them.
Do you think that animals here on Earth do experience time differently? Do you think a gnat whose lifespan is only a couple of days experiences time in a
Well, it's funny
different way?
because we put it into terms of lifespan and we put it into terms of self-awareness that I think a lot of animals don't have. They don't have the level of self-awareness that we do. For something like a gnat, it's less about, well, I guess it is tied to lifespan because it's also tied to metabolism. Mm-hmm. And it's tied to the speed of your own body and the speed of your own senses.
Yeah.
You know, you think about something like a fly that kind of sees everything coming at it very quickly and instantaneously. And you think about, well, in order for that to work, that fly sees my hand coming at it much slower than I think I'm moving my hand.
Yeah, right.
And, that's not necessarily a lifespan thing or a self-awareness thing, but it is just like a perceptual thing.
Warren, I made your cat clock, and I used a real cat, and I think it's hurting.
Steve, we need to talk because
Its eyeballs go back and forth.
it really is a great clock. Number one. I'm just gonna take it from you. I also noticed that. Did you buy a gun?
I bought a.
Have you been muttering about things about your death to come?
It's right around the corner, or maybe it already happened. This cat knows. Look how his eyeballs go back and forth, man.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
You know what I think is gonna make you feel better, buddy?
What?
Want some gelato? Take you out for a little gelato?
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. A little gelato put you right back in place, huh?
Oh, I love gelato.
Yeah, here you go.
Oh, thank you.
It's just
That's good.
yeah,
That's really good.
feeling back into it,
Yeah.
feeling like a little bit more
Feel
like yourself.
a little more like myself.
Yeah, right?
Oh, man. You know what happened to my cat?
I feel like there are two kinds of people who think about time really heavily. One of them are the people at our level who like science fiction and
Yeah.
like thinking about stuff like that. Maybe like getting high. Maybe it's a real stoner thing. That's probably a lot of stoners talk about it. And then the other type are people who actually study it and think about it on a professional level.
Mhm.
And it seems like the people who study it and think about it on a professional level are much less concerned about it than we are. It seems
Yeah.
like the more you learn about it, the more they're just kind of like, whatever, that's just the way the universe works. It's fucked. And then they go home, like they go bowling, you know?
Right.
Meanwhile, we just try to think about it for 4 minutes and we're like, but what is it? What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
what happens to the universe? What happens to me? What happens to you? Meanwhile, they're just like, I don't know, gelato and bowling. Fuck it, it's math.
I guess. I find as I get older, I can't stop thinking about it. That
Mhm.
it is, as you have a longer lifespan, my perception of time changes. I mean, my
Yeah.
dad used to say, life is like a
Box of chocolates.
roll of toilet paper.
Roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, it goes faster the closer you get to the end, right?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like that's kind of true. You know, it's
Your dad was like a deep thinker, but only in the bathroom. He used to just come
Yeah.
out and he'd just be like, Jeff, I want you to know that your life is a lot like this toothpaste.
Oh,
It gets flatter as you go.
okay.
That's it.
Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
Are you done in there?
No, I'm going back in because I
Oh.
got a lot of thoughts about the economy.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a plumber, so maybe that explains it. But I remember seeing when I was in theater school talking about Shakespeare and how there was John Barton, famous Shakespeare scholar, would talk about how basically Shakespeare was obsessed with time, talking about it. And I think at a certain point, all human beings are kind of like, it's the one great thing we can't account for. It's the one great
Well,
thing that we're all butted up against.
But I think there's a difference between the pursuit of a scientific measurement of time and figuring out how time works as some sort of quantifiable thing in the universe.
Yeah.
And us just getting older and mulling about what time means for us and how we've changed over time.
That's true.
There's perception of time, and then there is whatever time is. And I think we tend to think about our personal perception of it.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting is the reason why these scientists think about it and then eat gelato and go bowling is because they're thinking about that measurable, quantifiable thing
Yeah.
and not their feelings on it. You know, they're
Right.
just kind of like, this is what it is. You know, and I think we don't think about time so much as we think about our place in the passage of time.
That's true. That's true. But I think in measuring a clock this precise, it kind of pulls those two things together, right? Because you're saying, well, if we're measuring this thing, but then Einstein says it's relative, and so when you measure farther away from the gravitational center, you experience it differently.
Mm-hmm.
What does it even all mean? What does a lifespan even mean if it's all like it isn't quantifiable?
Yeah, you know what's weird is you never know what's going to give me existential angst. It pops up quite a lot.
But this doesn't?
No.
See, this to me is the central thing. This is it.
Yeah?
Time.
I get it, but at the same time I don't, because when you talk about it like that, when you talk about like, well, it changes as you travel and gravity and it changes from animal to animal and thing to thing, it's like, Well, then I don't worry about it. I know how it feels to me.
Right.
And it sounds like that's all I'm ever going to have to worry about.
Fair enough, I guess. We're too busy worried about where you left your car keys and if that gelato that you ate's going to give you heartburn.
Yeah, I worry more about like whether, did the restaurant properly clean their dishes and stuff? Like I have more like pedestrian, benign, stupid worries.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you get up to stuff like, what does the flow of time mean? I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just, you start off and then it flows and then you're gone and it just keeps flowing and it doesn't matter.
I guess.
Oh God. I don't know. Do you guys worry about this? Because I do understand the existential worry that something like time and what it means and what I understand like the nervousness that people get. I just don't get it. Do you guys experience it? I would love to hear. You can let us know on Twitter. I'm at @acarboni.
And I'm at Jeff Canada.
And if you've seen a story like this that you'd like to hear us stumble through stupidly, we nailed stumbling through this stupidly today.
Definitely stumbled stupidly.
High five for idiocy today. You can send those to us at wehaveconcernsshow@gmail.com. I don't know shit about shit.